Hi folks, well the sun's out in the garden, so that's why we're here. Right, I want to talk about the conversion I did on the XV750 frame so I could use a set of R1 front forks. Obviously we're making this custom bobber as modern as we can with the suspension with regards to the R1 shacker and the R1 front end I'm going to use on it. So I just want to talk a little bit about the stem housing on the XV and how I converted the original R1 yoke and stem to fit the XV750 mountain. So at this point I'd just like to thank Chris Percival, who I'll mention in this video, because what I would suggest, guys, is you can't really see him here, but when you put your shims into your stem housing for your bearings, what I would suggest is you heat these up with an oxyacetylene torch, because if you do, it'll provide you with an adequate gap so you can drop your bearing shims in one go. The last thing you want to be doing is battering these with a hammer or some kind of drift, because you'll just ruin them, and once they're ruined, that's it, it's a full new set of bearings. Okay, so something for you to consider there. So thanks to Chris Percival for letting me use these as acetylene oxide gun. Right, back to the R1. Now this stem I've converted myself. Now you can buy a machined stem for almost £300, believe it or not, from Cognito Motors, who you'll find online, and basically they provide you with a stem that they've milled and machined, and they'll also provide you with a set of bearings, conversion bearings, to fit the XV750 and the XV1000. That's all great if you want to pay £300 for that, and I'll include the page on the description from Cognito Motors if you want to buy one. Well, that's roughly from the US, £300 with shipping. Now I'm going to show you how to do it for £1.50. Yep, that's correct, you heard me, £1.50. And all you need is a titanium bolt and 2 titanium nuts. £1.50 from Stockton Fasteners or any good merchants that sell bolts, etc. So basically inside here is a 100mm M14 threaded titanium bolt, 2 nuts. Right, I'm going to tell you how to do it for £1.50, don't forget. Okay, so what you first need to do is get your stem took out on a press. So obviously your old bearings and that then will be useless, but they're no good anyway because of the old roller type bearings. The new bearings are much better. So once you've got your stem out, measure it, stick it in a vise, get your centre line, and there's 2 ways you can cut this. You can even cut it on a lathe if you want, but the 2 main ways of cutting it is centre line it, put it in a vise, cut it with a grinding disc, a cutting disc, or put a metal blade in a jigsaw and you can cut it like that. Okay, so basically once you've done that, I'll just get this apart so I can show you. You're then left with 2 halves of a stem. So what you need to do is you need a M14 tap, a 2mm coarse one, because you're using the coarse thread. So 2mm, you know, probably one of the better courses you can use. 1mm would probably be too fine on an aluminium stem. You'd probably tighten it up too much and then you'd lose the thread purchase. So 2mm. So again, M14. So M14, tap the bottom end, tap the top end, get yourself an M14 titanium bolt, cut the top off, get 2 nuts, you've already threaded it, put it back together. And when you do this for the last time, once you've put your bearings on, obviously you want to lock it up tight with your top nut, and you want to include some red thread adhesive so it won't move. And then the next consideration you have to have when you've done this job is bearing selection. Now I'll include a picture of All Bearings Racing will sell you, again from the US, a conversion kit for the bearings, so the bearings and the bearing shims and the seals will sit inside the XV750 or 1000 stem housing, right? So again, but 2 sets of bearings, conversion bearings for this, with the shipping and taxes from the US, was round about $370 if I remember correctly. So, you know, they're not cheap. But what I did do is I got the bearing code, because the bearing code on this stem are the same top and bottom, right? Not an issue, so you just needed 2. And I got them off eBay for around about £45. So again, you're going to save a massive chunk there. So you can use All Bearings Racing if you want, All Balls Racing, or you can spend a bit of time on the internet doing your research and converting this yourself. Again, there's 2 options. You can buy the stem from Cognito, you can buy the bearings from All Racing, or you can do it for yourself for £1.50 and £45, your choice. And it's as simple as that. You just cut the stem, tap it, get the bolt, cut the bolt down to 100mm, 2 nuts, put your new bearings on, the job's done. And just to show you it works, there you go. And it does bolt together properly. I've had it together properly. There's no friction, there's no movement, it flows nice and freely. So again, stay tuned. That's the last update for now, that's the last video, because what I'm going to do in the next video is I'm going to do a dry assembly of everything, all the fabrication I've done now, so I can just see how the bike sits. So that'll be the next video. We'll put the back end on, we'll put the front end on, we'll slap the engine back in, put the petrol tank on, because obviously there's still a lot of fabrication work. I just want to see how the bike sits next to the original. Okay folks, again, stay tuned, speak soon.